Welcome back to the MVP show. This is Swice here, was in Yellowstone last week. Co-host Mons, how we feeling today, Mons?
Feeling good.
You're feeling
good.
pretty quiet because you slept in? Is
Got
that
a good
why?
sleep. Got a little sunburnt yesterday at the beach, so
Oh, man.
the shoulder
It's
blades
because you're
are on fire.
albino.
I am albino.
Well,
That's what happens.
NBA and NHL are officially over, so we will dive into that and Mons' Celtics with the big Drew Holiday trade later on. But to start off the show, we have Dusty Picks calling in from Canada. Dusty, welcome to the MVP show.
Hey boys, thanks for having me on. I've watched your guys' stuff and just happy to be a part of it. And getting a chance with you guys is a pretty big deal for me.
Yes, sir. Well, we're excited to have you on. First off, would love to learn about your background and history of betting. So first up, when did you start actually sports betting?
When I actually started doing Dusty's Picks was probably right at the start of COVID in 2019. Like I work a full-time job still. I'm a correctional officer by day, gambler by night. But the boys at work were telling me, you always hit a lot in gambling. Like, start putting your plays out on Twitter and social media. You'll get a following. And I was like, nah, like that won't happen. Then they made me do it, and thank God I did it because it's been life changing for me. Next thing I know, I was on Bet 99 with Matthew Barnaby and all these guys. I thought I was getting punked. I was like, where's Ashton Kutcher at? Like, bring him out. But now I realize like I could make a little go at this, and I've been doing it for a little bit now and having good vibes.
Awesome. In regards to, we talked about it before the show, for just so the people know, you sell your picks and information, and is that all through SoBet?
Yeah, mostly through SoBet. I have Dove Club too, but I'm not really using that too much. But SoBet's my main source for all my picks and plays. I don't charge ridiculous amount because I'm not gonna say I'm the best in the world at it. But I always tell people, use me as a reference sheet. Gambling's about making your own plays and stuff like that.
Gotcha. So being from Canada, is hockey your go-to sport that you send out? I know a lot of cappers in the United States don't really send out that much hockey, but it is growing in popularity for us down here in South Florida. Obviously, the Panthers had a great season, won back-to-back. People are getting a lot more into it. I'm loving the hockey personally. Dusty, what would you say about your favorite sport to bet on?
Oh, 100%. My favorite sport to bet on is hockey. I finished plus 25 units this season with the playoffs and hockey, but I've had regular season and playoffs, but I bet all the time. Like I'm throwing out shots, points, goals. I'm doing it all. But yeah, hockey's my go-to sport. Like on SoBet, they call me the king of the ice. I don't know if that's just because I'm the Canadian boy, but I like that. And yeah, that's my biggest moneymaker too, is the NHL.
Are you betting mostly sides and totals with hockey, or are you betting props?
I do everything. I do props. I do same game parlays. I'm doing anytime goal scores for fun, just like anytime touchdown scores, like to have a little action in every little part of the game. But yeah, no, I cover it all. Do my research, do my homework, obviously. Got to do that. And yeah, I'm a huge Oilers fan. So for the last 2 years has
tough.
not been great for me. I've watched my team lose in the Stanley Cup Finals now 3 times, 06 last year and this year. It's been a rough go for oil country, but Florida, deep team, hard to beat.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, Bennett says he's coming back. We'll see about Marchand.
They're not going to be able to fit all 3. Ekblad, Marchand.
I think Ekblad's the one that goes. I think Marchand and Bennett's already saying like he's staying. He won the Conor Smythe. So I think he stays. But no, it's interesting that well, of course, being from Canada, makes sense that you're specializing in the hockey and kind of grew up with that. But definitely here in the United States, like there's just, I don't know, Matt, have you seen any like hockey specific handicap or like really specializing? It's mainly just football and basketball.
No, it's definitely football, basketball. MLB's picked up quite a bit with the handicapping popularity, but I would say it's mostly been football and basketball. However, between the 4 nations and, again, our opinion is skewed because we live in the city that has now won back-to-back. So, of course, hockey's going to be popular down here. Our opinion's skewed, but it does feel like just in general, hockey across the United States is picking up and catching a lot more steam than I'd say it has had in the last, 5 to 10 years or so. Would you agree?
Oh, 100%. hockey's been picking up in the States rapidly. I've got so many like American clients always messaging me.
Yeah.
They love the game. And it's great to see because at one point it was just all about, oh, it's only in Canada. It's Canada's game. Then the Four Nations was unreal. That got everyone going, especially that first game when
all the bars here were packed.
5 minutes.
Yeah, no, Four Nations was awesome. It was definitely, it was cool to see, and I hope that, I don't know, what's your take now that it's going to continue? Do you think it's still going to have that wow factor that it had, or do you think that a lot of that was just because it was the first time?
Well, we also have the Winter Olympics this year.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. We had the Winter Olympics coming up again, and then I think it was just a huge hit due to the fact it was McDavid's first time playing with Crosby, McKinnon, Matthews playing with Jack Hughes and all the boys all together, the Kachucks. I think that's why it was so big. But now I think with the Olympics and everything, it's not going to be as big.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
Yeah. What do you, going back to just handicapping as a whole, besides hockey, what's your next best sport? Football, you would say?
Yeah, I would say the NFL. The NFL I do pretty good in. Hit a couple massive same game parlays last year. Hit a plus 5,000 in the first week with Philly versus the Packers in Mexico. Was it in Mexico?
Brazil. Yeah.
Brazil, yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I'm a Packers fan.
That was the game I hit on, which was insane. But yeah, no, I really enjoy football. And to be honest, guys, getting into this 2019, I was, fresh into the college market, but the college market is massive.
Oh,
basketball and football. Didn't really realize till I really got into it. I'm like, oh my, the Americans love their college sports.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome.
Yeah, you can get a lot of value in those for sure. And then regarding the NHL, just wanted to touch back on that for a second. My actual opinion of it now is I think it's going to grow in popularity where, at least in the United States, not internationally, and not talking about Canada, but in the United States specifically, it's going to be more popular than the NBA. That's what I think. I just think the NBA is just, we have 7 champs the last 7 years. You look at who won this year, they had an amazing season, but they're just not getting that draw. I think if the NHL does a little bit better job of marketing their superstar players, I think they can overtake the NBA, at least in terms of popularity, because their games are, usually competitive. Those first couple games of the Stanley Cup were, overtime, 4-3 games. And I just think with the less scoring, you get kind of a tighter game there. So I used to be a big NBA guy, and I'm leaning towards hockey personally. But Dusty, what's your take on kind of the NHL and NBA with their seasons lining up and how they're both shaping up moving forward?
I used to, I guess I'm like you. I used to really enjoy the NBA, but now with all the guys resting, this and that, flopping nonstop, it hasn't gotten any better, let's say. And now they're going to probably do the World versus U.S. in the All-Star game or something now.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't even think that will help, but it's just you need to see the stars play. In the NHL, the stars play every night.
Mm-hmm.
At least you can bet it. NBA, it's tough. For the game, guys are resting, guys are sitting out. It screws up everybody, especially in the betting world.
Yeah, for sure. You talked about, Dusty, one of your biggest hits, the parlay you were just talking about. What would you say was your worst beat last football season or hockey wise? What was a tough bet for you?
Well, we're just gonna go back to last year's Stanley Cup Finals. I placed a nice little bet when the Oilers were down 0-3, plus 3,000 to win. Thought I was gonna get it. That one really hurt a lot just due to the fact it was my team and I was betting them. But that would probably be one of my biggest losses. Last NFL season, I had a 8-person anytime TD. I missed it by 1. That would have been massive. Been a couple bad beats, but you get lucky breaks all the time in gambling, so you got to take the bad breaks. You can't get mad at it. The gambling gods will always pay you back, I would say.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that Oilers one, so they were down 3-0. You took them to win, and then it went to Game 7. So you didn't hedge your bet. It sounds like.
No, I didn't hedge it. I was letting it ride, baby.
Yeah,
Just this year, I let it ride again.
What'd you get them at this year?
Wasn't anything crazy, plus 400 or something. It wasn't anything.
When did you was going into the finals or going into the playoffs? When did you lay that?
No, at the start of the regular season.
Oh,
I don't really do a lot of future bets. I hate having my money tied up all the time.
Mm-hmm.
just not my. I hate waiting that long. Like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
It is tough waiting that long. Speaking of different types of bets and stuff, we specialize here, or I do, in terms of Make Vegas Pay on the live betting side of things. Have you done any live betting for the NHL or NFL? What's your experience or opinion of that?
To be honest, I don't really get into the live betting game because I really don't have the time for it.
That's
You got to
fair.
be, you got to invest yourself into it. By the time I sit down at the end of the night, I'm like, you know what? I just want to watch the game. I don't want to think about it. But some nights on Saturday nights for Saturday night hockey in Canada, I always go on, do a couple. We'll watch the first period or something, do a couple bets, but nothing crazy. I'm not huge into live betting, but you guys have obviously made money off it and had good runs, so.
Yeah, it's definitely a time commitment, and NFL. It's tough even getting clients to like understand. All right, you'll have 15 minutes at halftime to get in a bet. So we really specialize in like halftime betting. I would love to get into long-term NHL, NBA, but also want to have the right data and team behind me to, you can't watch every game live kind of thing. So it's tough.
Yeah,
So working on
exactly.
some models and algorithms in that respect. But we mentioned earlier you were on SoBet. Do you have any sports books you work with or affiliate deals that you partnered up with that you really enjoy, or are you still kind of on the lookout on that front?
No, to be completely honest, SoBet Boys uh, approached me. I was like, nah, I'm not going to join them. Not going to join them. I brushed them off for probably 2.5 months. And then they came back again. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot. And to be honest, guys, it's been life changing for me. They brought in way more clients for me, just keeping people on the app with my plays, other people bringing in people to me nonstop. Like, I don't even really have to work that hard to get clients because they're all built into the app with other people doing all the work. And for me, for my work schedule and everything, with my family life and stuff like that, it's been unreal for me. I can't thank them enough, to be honest with you.
I'm glad to hear that. And in regards to your clients, do you offer like a community or one-to-one interaction? Like I know you're busy, so you might not offer some of that stuff, but what do your interactions with your clients look like just for people who might be interested, especially for your NHL stuff, which not many people are doing here to your extent and knowledge level?
No, yeah, no, for sure. On SoBet in the VIP section, you can DM me anytime, message me. I will respond. I will answer questions. People, have other thoughts and ideas they want me to do, or parlays. Let's say parlays. A lot of people will just slide in my DMs and be like, "Can we get a parlay, man? Can we get a parlay?" I'm like, "Oh my god, settle down, boys. It's not where you make the money." But
Well,
I
we're
do answer questions and everything.
So, Dusty, where do you make the money in hockey? Because I'm a little newer to the hockey betting, and I'm like, all right, why am I taking a puck line versus, the other, just the money line, like the over under? That last series was all overs basically, except the last game, I think.
Yeah,
What's your kind of hockey strategy? I'm curious to learn more. I know Matt and I don't have as much experience in the hockey front.
I don't know. You just got to look a lot into like the puck line value is just so good. So if teams are going to be up and pulling their
The
goalie,
goalie thing is wild to me.
like yeah, like teams are doing it with 4 minutes left in the game now. If they're down by two, so they could be down 2-0. They're pulling their goalie with 4 minutes left and could still hit the over unders or the puck line, right? You just got to look into it. It's a lot of like trends. I find you have to keep an eye on just how teams are playing, road trips, home and away, etc. So it's like any other sport to me, really. But I just really enjoy the hockey side of it.
Gotcha. In terms of the data you look at for games, do you look at any sharp or handle data from, like a VSIN, Circa, or any of that with your plays, or are you more into different kinds of research when you're researching for hockey?
No, I have like my own algorithm built too for hockey in NHL. Spits out numbers to me, and then I also do all my other homework with just. I used Prop Dash, I think it was. I've used that a couple times. Not a bad app if you're in a quick pinch to get something going. But I mostly do all my work and on my own homework. The NHL actually has gotten a lot better with their fantasy and their stats and everything. Chris Meany, the guy on Twitter, he works for the NHL now. I've been on his show, and yeah, he's doing great things for them. And they have so much data they're handing out now.
That's awesome. In terms of what you're offering, Dusty, with your picks, what would you say? are your top 3 things that you offer for customers on a consistent basis, whether it be transparency or, you know, a bankroll management, stuff like that? What would you say are those top 3?
Well, 100%. I'm always transparent. Like I don't like you're gonna have bad nights. Like people, it's gambling. If it was that easy, everybody would be doing it. Nobody would be working. Um, but just bankroll management too. I always tell people like start out small. When I started doing this, man, I was only putting $10 down a bet. I've worked my way up to what I'm at now. But like, it doesn't matter how much you put down. It's just if you finish the night in the green, that's all that matters. I always tell people. People see my stories on Instagram and that. I always post people's tickets. I don't care if it's $2, $5, $4,000. As long as we finish in the green, I always say, and just be disciplined. Like, yeah, sometimes I get out of hand too, and my brother will text me and be like, "All right, let's slow this down here a little bit. We're getting a little nuts."
That's what I have Matt for here. Yeah.
I was gonna say, what do you do to stay disciplined and to stay off tilt to keep yourself from getting on tilt and chasing
and being a degenerate?
I just gotta, I don't know, I just gotta stick to my guns like I always do and have my 4-star plays of the night that I put out for my VIP clients, and I'll put a parlay out. But at the end of the day, it's hard to sit back because I'm like, there's so much value, but I know I got to be disciplined. When you start chasing is when you start losing big, and that's not what I'm here to do.
Yeah, that's what people end up doing. In regards to Dusty, when you send out your plays, like I'm sure you have a lot of clients from the United States. Do you send out your plays with like the odds and the sports book listed with the best value, or how does that work with your plays that you send out?
I send out the plays with the odds, which book I got it from. But like most of the times I don't have time for the descriptions, but on my days off during the weeks and stuff like that, I do throw massive descriptions for each play. That's why I kind of started doing my little podcast there. It's only 5 minutes. I hand out 4 plays. Okay. I want people to like know I know what I'm talking about, right? Not just typing out plays and saying, "Hey, bet this, hey, bet that."
Yeah, that must be interesting though, because like, do you send out the Canadian sportsbook odds or the American sportsbook odds?
The American,
okay.
For sure.
So you have a lot more American clients, you would say, than Canadian?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Way more American than Canadian, but Canadians are getting up there. Yeah. Canadians are just hidden from like college sports in Canada. It's crazy.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. Have you heard of Canadian
wild. No,
sports?
I haven't. But I mean, besides CFL. But
the CFL.
You know, like that's
hey, I'm betting CFL right now. Are you 5-2 on the season? Let's go.
CFL.
Good stuff. No, it's very interesting to me to hear that, considering like you can't grow up as an American in the United States without hearing about college sports and college football. I
mean, college football is the number 2 sport now, revenue-wise, like in this country. Not NBA internationally still kills it, but domestically, it's NFL and college, and then we have October. Dusty, with like 8, hockey starts, MLB, NBA. So October is definitely my favorite month of the year. Don't have fall anymore here in Florida, but I'm sure you guys are getting snow out there in Canada already. There,
living in my igloo here.
Yeah. But going back to the NFL for a sec. So what do you specialize in, Dusty, for the NFL? I know we've talked a lot about hockey, but the NFL is approaching around the corner. You said you don't really do
NFL. I like. I normally stick to spreads and over and unders. I do the odd props here and there, but I've really found a groove in my spreads and over and unders. But the NFL has so many options; it's crazy. You can almost bet on anything now, right? Like, people want everything. People want TDs. People want player props. So I do have like a little cheat sheet I do every week for everything. But at the end of the day, I like to stick to my just spreads and over unders for the NFL and make some money.
Yeah, it gets to be overwhelming, especially with the amount of bets you can do. Like we send out like winning margin bets for NFL. So like Chiefs to win by like 1 to 9 points. One of the offshores we're partnered with, they offered that last season, and that was definitely
those plays.
Yeah, like plus 200, plus 300, 1 to 6 you can get them at. And then like we'll look into here a lot of the NFL ref stats and stuff like that. Have you ever looked into like the referees as part of your picks or plays for NFL?
Not too much into the NFL. The NHL, yeah, I did. But
really, for the NHL refs.
Oh
Interesting.
yeah. Oh yeah. There's a couple out there.
I didn't even realize there was data out there for like NHL refs history and stuff. I know NBA
Oh,
and
there's
NFL.
a ton.
What, just for the main one, or just like how does it work with the NHL? The referee crew, like
Well,
how?
there's probably about 40 refs, and they all take turns doing all the games. I'm good friends with one of the linesmen. I coached him in junior B hockey. Now he's in the NHL, living the dream.
Oh
But
wow.
he he I've talked to him a few times, just in general, not about gambling, just talking about referees, how they go and everything, and how they work, and like like in the playoffs. I don't know if you noticed when Marchman slashed a ref, Dallas and who was it, and he should have got 10 games, and they didn't give it to him. But the refs do play a major role in the NHL, and there are stats to prove that.
Are you talking about like for home and away, or for totals?
Home away or just against different teams. Like Wes McCauley, anytime he did an Oiler game in the playoffs, it was almost an automatic fade for the Oilers. He
Wow.
loved putting the Oilers in the box.
I mean, for NFL, I always talk about it. Some of these guys, I mean, they grew up sports fans, I'm sure, and they grew up a certain team. Like there is an inherent bias of,
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, not.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, we always say the NFL is somewhat rigged. I don't know about hockey, but the NFL definitely. If you just bet based off of some of the ref trends and stuff, you can make a lot of money. So I incorporate that into what I do with the NFL.
That is great info, though. I'll definitely be looking into that this
Yeah, the
year.
ref stats. I mean, there's a million things you can look up for NFL. The sharp data, the true sharp data, right? Like I don't know how it works for hockey, but at least for NFL, you could see the percentage on Action Network or some of these sites, but then, we know some sharp syndicates and groups that'll, actually be, sending some guy to bring in cash to actually push the lines there. So.
Yeah, for sure.
But with this we only got a few more minutes left, Dusty. Would love to hear, what should followers of you look for this upcoming season? Like, what's going to be new with Dusty Picks? What are you pushing for your subscribers?
Um, this year for the NFL, I'm going to start doing a weekly show to get my followers more involved, listen to me a little bit more, get me talking more instead of just typing out plays. Might be moving into this full time here shortly, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm just going to bring more me. I'm going to try to present instead of just typing out plays, hand them people, give them more reasons of why I'm taking this, why I'm doing this. But yeah, at the end of the day, I'm going to put myself out there more. Let's say.
Yeah, I mean, Matt, really, I'm just thinking, Dusty with the hockey stuff. Like we haven't talked to anyone that's into hockey on our show, and we've had a guest on every week.
It's good. Hockey, like we said, it's growing at a pretty rapid rate, in my opinion, and I think it's good that you're early to it, because I think 5 years from now, we talk about how the handicapping market as a whole is oversaturated, and for the most part, when we say that, we mean NFL. But I wouldn't be surprised if within 3 to 5 years we start seeing that with the NHL, with the way that it's growing. So I think the fact that you're solidifying yourself and specializing yourself with hockey right now is going to be really good for you to possibly cement yourself as one of the hockey guys.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking to do, man. It's putting my face on the map in the hockey betting world right now. So
yeah, it's no, I'm excited to follow you along your journey, especially from the hockey front, just to learn more about it, what goes into it, and want to myself get more into it. It's just tough when the season starts right when NFL and college are like picking up, and then you got MLB and NBA. So I kind of wish these sports would space out a little bit, but it also is exciting in October when literally you can just watch sports 24/7 here. But Dusty, in regards to this fall, you got any crazy, sports? You going out to Vegas or anything for sports betting stuff, or any of cool events you're going to?
to be honest with you, I have nothing right now planned. Just trying to get through summer with the kids and get them back to school, and that's when I can start going around doing some trips and start planning. I go to a lot of sporting events here and there. I was at the Oilers last year a bunch, but yeah, Got to get through summer here with the kids first.
Yeah, everyone with kids. I'm dreading the day I gotta have kids.
Let's get a girlfriend first, buddy.
All right. Different. Oh God, you're making Dusty laugh here. All right. But Dusty, no, it's been a pleasure having you on. We're excited to follow your journey with hockey and NFL coming up. Where can the people follow you, get your picks, information, social media handles, all that jazz?
Follow me on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, Dusty Picks. And then my Instagram is dusty.picks. Those are my two main streams. TikTok, I'm still kind of new with it, play around with it, but don't really have too much interest in the TikTok game.
No, you don't want to deal with them. They restrict everything. I mean,
well, that's what I'm seeing. I'm getting like, I think I already got a post restricted. I'm like, what do they do?
Yeah, they are crazy. We're pushing YouTube over here and stuff. But Dusty, it's been a pleasure, brother. Thank you for coming on the show and sharing all your insights and expertise. We look forward to staying in touch and airing this episode.
Thanks, guys, for the opportunity to learn from you guys as professionals in this business, I'll say, and joining the podcast here and just, seeing how you guys work and run the show. It's very impressive, but good work, boys. And I'll keep tabs on you guys too.
Yes, sir. We'll be in touch. Thanks, Dusty.